Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Okay, I know, I'm very well aware, my consistency, I've been gone for a minute and I only did 2 videos in December, and I explained that was because of the holidays. I was trying to give my son, like our first Christmas together since I've been home, something really good and one-on-one physical face-to-face contact instead of always being on social media or trying to take care of those things. So, long story short, after that, I ended up posting, I think it was my last video, right? And when that happened, I started to get a lot of hate mail, a lot of hate comments, a lot of trolling. Y'all will not believe this shit. Like, I am blown away, okay? It all stems from this girl, and I was in prison with her. We're not the same, we don't run in the same circles. We didn't run in the same circles in prison. We wouldn't run in the same circles here at home. We're just not, we're different kinds of people, okay? And she did her time very differently than me, getting in trouble, things of that nature, a lot of pen pals, and that, y'all, is where the problem came in. When she saw my pen pal video, she felt very offended on behalf of the women who are still doing that with the pen pals in prison, and herself who still does it and probably still sucking some poor pen pal dry, okay? So with all of that being said, I did see some of her hate and some of the things she was posting, like rants, like long-winded rants, y'all, about me and my channel, and saying that I am talking about people that have no voice because they're still incarcerated. Like, biatch, do you not know this story has been told? She was also offended that not only did I air out the pen pal scam, but that I talk about things and insinuate that I've never done them. One, I haven't ever had pen pals. I don't see using somebody for personal gain while they are getting sucked dry of everything they worked for. I'm not cool with that. But of course I've done some things in there that I'm talking about. I'm fucking talking about them. How do you think I know about them? Like, I wasn't sitting on my bed doing Bible study every night. Like, is that something that really needs to be addressed? If there's something that I've done, I'm probably talking about it. If I haven't done it, I specifically tell you guys I haven't done it. So I'm just like, you must be a little on the slow side, sweetheart. So anyways, then she started making comments about suing, and people were trying to sue me and all this ridiculous nonsense. So just to be on the safe side, even though I know she's complete trash and there's no validity to anything she's saying, I wanted to check with an entertainment attorney and make sure that all of my videos and everything I'm doing is completely legit and covered. And that takes a little while because obviously I'm not the highest paying client on the totem pole. But after everything was searched, viewed, all of that was done, I came out smelling like a rose. So, but yeah, there's absolutely nothing that I'm doing wrong in my videos. It's all under fair use law. There's no copyright infringement laws here being broken. So basically, long story short, you guys, I tell you all that to tell you this. I was dealing with that little troll when I really didn't even have to, but I was trying to make sure that everything I'm doing is completely covered, because the last thing I need is some poor hustler that thinks they can ride my coattails. So that is why I halted what I was doing temporarily. However, I am back and I will not take any sort of hiatus like that again. Okay, you guys? So thank you so much for sticking with me. Sorry for this long intro. Thank you guys for having the patience and understanding. I really don't give 2 shits what anybody has to say about me or my channel. If they're offended because they were in prison with me and they think that I'm saying things that I have no business putting out there, well, guess what? Somebody might have some reason that they need to watch this, some information they want to get out of it, or might want to just watch something that's pure entertainment. I'm not saying anything that a million people haven't already said and everybody doesn't know, okay? If I were to ask a complete stranger today or tomorrow, hey, are there drugs in prison? They would probably say yes, without anybody having told them that. Why? Because it's common knowledge, okay? The only people I owe anything to is you guys, my subscribers, the people that I communicate with on a regular basis. If you guys have any questions, concerns, anything like that, please let me know. But most of you guys do anyways. So Anyways, I'm gonna get right into today's video after that very long intro. Today's video is going to be interesting, fun, exciting. So today's video is going to be about getting handcuffed and taken to jail, confinement, solitary, the hole, the shoe, whatever it is referred to in your state, whatever you've heard on television. It's basically a confinement cell where you are held when you're in trouble, okay? But the crazy part is prison is like its own little world, okay? And within that world, you have an education department, you have landscapers, you have masonaries, you have horticultures, you have teachers, students, all types of, dynamics in there that really make up the skeleton of a real world scenario, okay? And solitary confinement is no different because that is the jail of the prison. So let's just get this clear. Here in Florida, in the state of Florida, there is only a few female state prisons, okay? In those state prisons, everybody refers to solitary confinement as jail. So when you say, oh, you're going to jail, oh my gosh, you went to jail, oh, so-and-so went to jail, whatever, that is what they're referring to. They got in trouble and they went to solitary confinement. The reason it's referred to as jail is because, and I'm going to really show the comparison right now, is because of how the process of you ending up there happens, okay? So in the real world, you would get stopped, maybe in your car, maybe at your house. They'll come to your house or in a store, wherever the incident happens, okay? Immediately you get handcuffed, you get put in a police car, you get either taken somewhere and interrogated or taken straight to the county jail, put on a steel cold bench, then you go through a booking process, then you get searched, then you get to go to wherever your next stop is, which is general population, and then you stay there with whatever little property they give you and whatever little things they may have let you keep, okay? After that, you go to court, you get sentenced or you get released, and then if your sentence is small, you stay in the county jail and serve it, and if it's larger, you go to state prison, okay? That is how it works in the real world. Now, in prison, it is very, very, very much exactly like that, and it's insane. So because it's its own little world in there, this is how the process works, okay? Generally, they will come to you and cuff you because arresting someone in prison is called being cuffed. So if someone says, oh my gosh, so-and-so just got cuffed. Oh my gosh, so-and-so's cuffed down there. Oh my God, I'm about to get cuffed. That means you are about to get arrested. So nobody's walking around saying, oh my God, someone just got arrested. No, they're saying so-and-so was cuffed, okay? Now, when so-and-so gets cuffed, they will either get stopped in the middle of whatever activity they're doing, in the middle of the fight they're in, or they'll maybe be in their dorm, on their bed, at their job, and the police, the officers, will show up there and cuff them, aka arrest them, okay? So once you get arrested with everything you're wearing, everything that's on you personally, and you immediately get taken to jail. Jail is an entirely separate building on the compound where only inmates that are in disciplinary trouble are housed, okay? So basically, when you get cuffed and you get taken there, before you even make it to the cell that you're going to stay in until your court hearing, before you even make it there, you're put in a holding cell, like a little one man, I'm not kidding y'all. It's like, excuse me, I would say it's like 2 coffins. I know that, no, like 2 okay, let me just say it like this. God, that was a morbid comparison. It's like 4 feet wide, okay, and about 3 feet long. Or did I say that backwards? 4 feet long and 3 feet wide, okay? So it's very small. There's a cage door in front of you. You know, you can breathe in and out, and you can kind of look and peep around and see who's walking up and down the hall of that building, but that's it. You have nothing else. You're sitting in there. Sometimes you're cuffed while you're in there. Sometimes you're not. Just depends on the officer. So basically, you sit in there until they go and gather all of your personal property from your dorm. So everything that you own, your bedding, your food, your books, your this and that and the third, they gather everything up and they separate because the officers knows what you're allowed to have and what you're not. So the officers separate when they are gathering all your things inside of the dorm. They separate your things with stuff that can go with you to jail, to confinement, or things that cannot go with you to confinement, okay? So you are then taken a bag of your personal property with the things that you are allowed to have, which is usually writing paper, pencils, maybe a pen sometimes, shampoo, no conditioner because you can't see through it, shampoo. Dang, they took a lot of stuff away at the end, so I'm trying to think. It's not much, you guys. Like, in all honesty, it's like you can't have food, tweezers, your radio. Like, you can't have luxury items or what's considered luxury while you're in jail, in prison. So it kind of sucks. But anyways, all the rest of your property, the things you can have, which it's really at the officer's discretion when they're packing your things in the dorm, because some of them will throw your radio in there. Some of them will throw a sweatshirt in there. Some of them will only give you one pair of shorts and one t-shirt, and you just have to thug it out and tough it out while you're in there. Like, it's really just up to how much of an asshole that officer is being that day and how much they mess with you or not, if they like you or if they don't. So at that point, the rest of your things that are not approved to be in jail with you are sent to the main property room, which is where everything is at that an officer oversees. It's closed, it's locked up in a bag, and it has your name on it for whenever you are released, you can gather your personal things, okay? So once you are in that holding cell, okay, and you have your bag that they've brought you, which by the way is effing disgusting, y'all. They are so rude. Let me tell you what they do. They take your bed sheet and they put all of the things that you're allowed to have on your bed sheet. And then if they're nice, they'll have an inmate carry it over their shoulder like this and bring it to you so it doesn't ever touch the floor, because that's your bed sheet. You don't get new, like when you go into a cell in jail, you don't have a brand new bed. There is a mattress that looks like a pool float, and then your sheets that they're going to bring to you, and that's it. So basically, if it's an asshole officer or an asshole inmate who doesn't care, or your things are extremely heavy because they've packed a lot of books or something like that, they will sometimes drag your sheet that you're going to sleep on in like an hour across the floor, across the dorm floor, across the concrete out there, across the floor in the confinement building. Like, it's really, like, you just have to pray that you get really nice people throughout your whole journey, okay? So, nonetheless, moving right along, you now are given that little bag of property that's wrapped up in your bed linens, okay? And you are handcuffed and like this. So they handcuff you from behind and you have to hold your bag, your little makeshift laundry bag that's actually just your bed sheet tied up with a knot, with all your things in it. And you have to go upstairs, handcuffed and shackled on your feet, or downstairs to your room, to whatever room they've put you in. You're in that holding cell not only to give the officers time to pack your property, but also to find a room for you that is compatible with your custody and with your housing. So everybody in prison has a housing and a custody. Those two things, and I'm not going to get into all that here. I'll do like another video on that one day. But basically, housing and custody have to do with your charges and how violent you are in the outside world, in the free world. So how much of a threat you are to the population when you're outside of prison, and then your behavior while you're inside of prison, and how you behave in prison and how much of a threat you have been since you have been in custody, okay? So those two numbers, the higher you go, the more of a threat you are. And it goes all the way up to a 5, I believe. I've never seen anything past a 5, but if you are a higher number, like a 4, it means that you have some things that they might want to house you with somebody that is also a 4, or they might want to house you alone because they don't want to house you with a 1 who is a minimum custody, non-violent, non-troublemaking inmate. It's, might be a bad match, right? So once they have appropriately found a room for you with somebody that you are compatible with based on your housing and your custody, what they do now is they take your handcuffed and shackled behind with your bag and take you to the room, slide the door open, push you on in, take the handcuffs off, and you are now in the county jail in prison, okay? You're not sentenced, you're just in the county jail. So, I know, crazy, right? So at this point, in a regular county jail, you'd be waiting to go to court, right? In prison jail, you're waiting to go to court as well. Within like 24 hours or so, you will have an officer come to you, wake you up, and tell you that they want a affidavit. In the real world, it would be called an affidavit. Out here, well, in the free world, it would be called an affidavit, just basically stating what happened, what you did, what is your scenario, how are you playing this out, right? You're like your little witness statement, So they get you with those, y'all. Don't ever do it. But anyways, so they do that in jail too. And they try to incriminate your ass for everything under the sun. Like, really don't want to write anything, but sometimes people are so pissed off and they feel like they've just been done so wrong that they write their little hearts out and then they get royally effed anyways. So you will have an officer come to you and they will slide that little paper through the flap and they will tell you, is there anything you want to say about the situation? You can either deny it or you can write something, okay? Now, that paper is going to serve as your voice when you go to court, and you kind of want to help yourself as much as you can if you actually have a case against them. So, some people write, most people do, some don't. Now, they take that paper away, and within about 6 to 8 days, okay, you will have your court hearing, which in the jail that's in the prison, so in prison world, your court hearing is called a DR hearing. DR stands for disciplinary report, and a disciplinary report is what they write against you, and that is the infraction that they are charging you with, and that is what you are going to try to either plead guilty to or plead not guilty to or no contest and get sentenced, okay? Now the DR, y'all aren't going to believe this either. They actually have infraction numbers, like a 9-35 is a sex act. So if you get charged with a 9-35, you got charged with a sex act. There is like numbers, like how there is statues out here, like, oh, you violated statute 8421, kiss my ass. Like if you literally violate something in the free world, there is a number that correlates with that violation of the law, and there is in prison too. So a 9-25 is when you have a personal relationship with staff, okay? So in the DR, there is going to be the statement that the officer or whomever arrested you wrote, what they saw, why they arrested you, what the evidence is, and all of that stuff. The infraction number for what you are being charged with, okay? And then your name and all your information, so on and so forth. When that happens, 6 to 8 days, you're going to get a knock on your door, and they're going to say, DR hearing, let's go. So, they'll knock and say something like, Gomez, get up, DR hearing. Okay, let's go. On that day, most everybody, they are made aware that they are going to have their DR hearing at that time. So like about an hour before, when you are told that that's your day, you usually will pack all of your things, because once you get sentenced and or released, you don't go back to that room. You will actually go to another area for sentenced inmates, just like the county jail, or you will go, back to a dorm, right? So you pack all your stuff, it's sitting on your bed, you get handcuffed and shackled, you try to look as innocent and, nunly as possible, because you want them to think that you were just so wrong, just like jail. I mean, you go to court, the lady murdered her husband and cut his balls off and shoved him down his throat, and then she goes to court with bangs, a freaking bob, and a dress thing up to here, buttons up to here, with a mid-calf skirt on, like you're a freaking, riding one of the buggies somewhere. No shade to like any sort of religious or cultural groups. I'm just saying, like, how people do, right, guys, when they go to court, like they try to look as possible, and they were just at the club shaking and twerking that thing. Okay, so you go, and just like courts, there is a makeshift judge, a makeshift bailiff. I shit y'all not, you guys. They like literally make this like the real world, okay? A makeshift judge, a makeshift bailiff, a makeshift whatever, witness person, this person, that person. It's insane, okay? So the judge is the classification officer. Classification officers are not in uniform. They are civilian staff, but they run all of your life basically in prison. They're the ones that send you from one prison to another. They're the ones that make the rules over what your punishment's going to be. Like, all of this stuff is decided by classification officers. I'm sorry, y'all, but I just realized like I was hunching. Okay. So, anyways, classification officers, right? So the classification officer is your judge at that moment. There is a high-ranking court official. There is a high-ranking prison official in the room as well, who is going, it's usually like a captain or a lieutenant or something, who is going to serve as the security end of the actual process. So you have the administrative end, which is the classification officer, the security perspective, which is, you know, whoever the official is. And then you have like the little bailiff, which is the little like peon correctional officer, like the little guard that stands at the door to make sure that you're not gonna like pull out a gun and start shooting somebody in court, right? Like, y'all need to get real. Come on now, being a bit dramatic. Little drama in the air with all the stuff that they do. I mean, like, who's really gonna, do you know how many times, like, literally somebody gets found not guilty and gets out? Like, you're in jail and prison. I don't have a voice. I don't have rights. Y'all aren't on my side. Like, get real. Just send me to the damn cell that I'm going to and tell me what my punishment is and let's get this shit started. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, some people do get off, but it's, like, super rare. So you go in, they ask if you have anything to say, if you want to say anything regarding what happened. And basically, most of the time, of course, everyone tries to plead their case and hope for the best. Now, in front of the correctional officer, who is the makeshift judge, there is your entire prison record. So they can see if this is like a fluke, if this was just a mistake, you know, if maybe you have a history and a pattern of just always doing stuff that gets you in trouble. And they really, most of the time, they find you guilty, but they really base a lot of your punishment on that as well. So you kind of want to have a good record. Like, it does benefit you if you're not a troublemaker, right? So anyways, while you are talking and trying and hoping that that person is in a good mood that day and you're not going to get freaking railroaded, you know, she or he is like looking, it's usually she, looking over your thing like da-da-da-da-da, okay, da-da-da-da, not even looking at you because they're not even really probably listening to anything you're saying, but they are pretending. So once that happens, they read the DR and then they say, how do you plead? And just like court, y'all, you either plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest, right? So, I mean, when I got out and I thought about these things, I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me. Like, they are funny in there. These funny guys. Funny system all around, really, to be honest. Totally jacked up. But anyways, that's for another time. So now you plead whatever you plead, and what you plead really doesn't matter. It's not even a drop in the bucket. It's a drop down the street in somebody else's drain because it has no relevance to what's going to happen to you. You can cry. You can do whatever you want. It does not matter. Okay? It doesn't matter, y'all. I'm telling you. So, you get found guilty. Whatever you plead, you get found guilty 9 times out of 10. And once that happens, at this point, you are just really praying to whoever you pray to. I'd be praying to God, but whomever you pray to, you are praying that they just do not throw the book at you, okay? That for some reason, they had a really good breakfast that morning. They had some really good, you know, intimate relations that morning. Maybe they won a scratch off the night before, like something that is going to make them lighten the load, because they can do whatever they want. They can sentence you to probation right there. And yes, there is probation in jail too, y'all. In the prison, there is probation. And it's just like out here. If you are on probation, you're walking around the prison free. But if you have any kind of run-in with anyone, you're going serving your time. So it's crazy. But, so they can sentence you to probation, they can sentence you to 2 days, they can sentence you to 2 years. I mean, it really all just depends on what happens right there with those two. So once you plead whatever you plead and you get found guilty, they remove you from the room. So you are now standing in the hallway, handcuffed and shackled, while the court officials, the judge and the co-judge, because that's like what it is. So the classification officer and the administrative official and then the security official are in there chit-chatting about your fate for the next however many days you're going to be in there. So once they've decided, they open the door and they're like, hey, okay, come on back in, Miss Gomez, come on. So you go back in there and you're hoping for the absolute best. And it's usually exactly whatever the punishment is. You know, they don't really show you much grace. Whatever the punishment is, they usually literally give you that, okay? So now you are taken out. And because you are sentenced, you can no longer reside in the area with the unsentenced people that are waiting to go to their court hearing, DR hearing. Because see, when you're sentenced, you cannot have the same things that somebody who is unsentenced can have. And when I say can have, I mean by way of property, right? I don't know, like off the top of my head right now, I really didn't ever get into trouble. I got in trouble one time in 9 years, and it was like the last 90 days of my sentence. So I really don't know a whole lot about that part, but I know that there are things you're allowed to have and things that you're not when you're sentenced and when you're unsentenced, okay? So it's the same thing in the county jail, in the prison. So in jail and prison, you are just allegedly guilty when you're in that section of that building, but when you go to another building, you are now actually convicted, okay? Can y'all imagine you're a convicted felon in prison for being a convicted felon? Isn't that wild? I know y'all would never guess, right? Because they don't tell you all, they don't show all this in the movies. They're just like, to the hole you go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. To the hole you go. To the shoe you go. Like, no, it's like a whole lot more than that, okay? Whole freaking process that takes a week before you even get to the damn hole or whatever they want to call it. So guys, okay, moving right along. So now you go to the new area. You're again put in a cell. Now when you're put in a cell, your property is ravaged again. Everything is gone through. They take out whatever you can't have for the next phase of your sentence. Now they also strip search you. They strip search you. You got to bend, squat, cough, pucker, flower out, flower in, spread the cheeks, booty holes, cootie holes, and every other holes. Mouth holes, ear holes, nose holes, eye holes, every hole, right? Armpits, under boobies, everything like that, between toes, between fingers, and your hair. You know what I'm saying? If you could lift your eyelid, they want to see in there, okay? They want to see if you got a poppy seed behind that eyelid. So it's very, very invasive. But anyways, so you are strip searched, your property is searched, then you are taken out of the holding cell, and when you're taken out of that holding cell, you are appropriately matched with another roommate, cellmate, and put into that room, or if they can't match you, they put you by yourself, okay? So once that happens, your sentence begins, and it's absolute shit. It's the worst situation ever in life. I wanted to literally pass out, faint, and wake up at the end of my sentence 60 days later, because yes, you guys, I actually had to spend 67 days in jail for what I did the last 90 days, which was so ridiculous because I went 9 entire years without ever as even so much having been in handcuffs. And then all of a sudden, the last 90 days, this, okay? But I'm gonna get to that at the end, so. Anyhow, so once you are put in that cell, you will not leave at all for anything except for you will take a shower. Well, you will be afforded the opportunity to shower if you would like to 3 times a week. They will allow you to shower for 36 seconds in nasty showers. I had a shower, it was 3 on top, and one of the drains wouldn't go down, and I always used to pray that I would not get that shower, because whatever the shower they escort you to, that's what you're getting in. But I ended up getting it sometimes, and damn did it suck, man. The water starts filling up immediately, so when you get there, there's a good chance that somebody else's dirty backwater is already at the drain, this high. And so you have to literally spread your legs completely and then freaking just hope for the best. Ugh, so disgusting. Anyways, so you will leave for 3 showers a week. And if you're there for more than 60 days, at the 60-day mark, you can use the phone 1 time a week. I think it was on Wednesdays for 1 15-minute phone call. And after 30 days, you are allowed to go out to recreation, which is a concrete slab. And it's probably, the concrete slab is about a 6 by 5 by 10, and it's a cage. It's a fucking dog kennel. Okay, it's an oversized, tall dog kennel. It's like as big as a dog kennel, but tall. And that's your recreation. And then there's like a whole bunch of dog kennels, and they're all lined up like in this long row, so you can look at each other and like talk, but at least you can get a little fresh air and sun. But you got to be like, hey Susie, like, how's it going down there, stuff like that. It's like utterly ridiculous. I only went one time and it was totally lame. So nonetheless, so those are the only reasons you will ever leave, okay? Ever, unless you have like a call out, which is basically medical wants to see you or classification wants to see you about something. That's it. If you have an appointment, or like the dentist, right? So that is it. Other than that, you are in that room 24 hours a day. It's not 23 hours. It's not you get to walk around for 1 hour. The door is locked for 24 hours a day, period, point blank. Yeah, cell life sucks. It sucks on a day-to-day basis. It just really does. Like, you're freezing cold, just like county jail. Officers, while you're in confinement, come by and bam on your door every morning, turn the light on, and start yelling about wake up, get dressed, and make your bed. And you have to do all this, and it's just to sit in that same room. But you will get in trouble and get more infractions and more DRs and more write-ups if you don't get up and make your bed and get dressed just to lay back down on this mat and sleep all day. But you just can't sleep under the covers because it's freezing cold, and that's just like too much to ask. Like, I can't even sleep under my cover. The hell out of here, okay? But the only time they open that flap is if you call them and ask for some toilet paper or something, or if they're coming to bring you the meals, which the first meal is like 5:30 in the morning. The second is like at 10:45 to 11:15, and the third is at like 4 to 5. Like it's in between 4 and 5. No, it's not even by 5. It's between like 3:45 and 4:45 is your last meal. Let me tell y'all something, baby. By 9 o'clock, your stomach is touching your back and eating your ribs. It is sickening. You starve in there. I've never been so hungry in my life, y'all. You're like literally waiting to hear those buggies, y'all. I just remembered waiting to hear the buggies. There was one buggy that had like a jacked up wheel, and it was like every time it rolled by the windows. And when it would roll by the window and I would hear it, I'd be like, oh my God, it's food. Like there's a meal coming. Oh, I was so sad. Oh God, I was so sad. I'm talking about I felt third world pain, y'all. I'm not telling y'all. Ooh, those hunger pains. Woo, y'all. That's something serious. I can't even try to tell you guys that. I can't even try and pretend like it really is like a third world thing, but it's damn close. It's third world for me. I shit y'all not. It's third world for me because it's the worst I'm never gonna be worse off than that moment. I was so hungry, you guys. I'm telling you, like, I just can't. I don't even know what to tell you guys. Like, when you talk about saving slices of stale bread from the morning breakfast tray, just so at 10 or 11 o'clock, you can take that bread out of the toilet paper you wrapped it in and eat it little, slow, bite by bite to try to fill your stomach up. It was like that. Okay, it was deep. Because you can't have confinement when you're sentenced. That is a privilege and you cannot have it. So, man, that stuff was rough. But so that's what you do all day. You have whatever books. There's a book cart that comes around like once a week. You can try to get a book off of it. They roll a cart by the door. The officer opens your flap. You point to which one you want. They give it to you. These are not books that you want to read. These are books like, I mean, Harlequin love novels and stuff like that. I know some people like that. I'm just saying personally, it's not what I want to read. I don't want to read the book with the cowboy on the front going like this and the lady with their hair blowing in the wind and some long freaking Gone with the Wind dress and stuff like that. Like, I don't want to read that. But guess what? When you're in there, you're going to. Oh yeah, you're going to read whatever you get your hands on. You're going to read the freaking pamphlet from the Herpes and Syphilis Association warning you not to have your mouth on everything and everyone because all this is going to happen and you're going to know every symptom in the world because you're going to read that pamphlet until the freaking words fall off of it, okay? That's how bad it is. So you're just so bored, y'all. You're so freaking bored. Thank God my mom took care of me pretty much my entire sentence. As far as like books and stuff goes, when she found out I was in there, she was pissed. Y'all, I got a Spanish mama, and she's very accomplished and very successful in life. She built herself an empire out of nothing. So she kept me up with books and stuff. She was pissed that I was in there. I didn't get any kind of praise for being in there, but she found it as an opportunity for me to elevate and exercise my mental muscle, right? So you can only imagine the kind of books she sent me, like how to improve this and all these self-helps and, the 10% happiness and all this stuff. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, some of the books she sent me, most of the books she sent me, I cannot even think of one, were bomb. They were bomb books. They were so freaking good. They were so educational, so interesting. I would have probably never picked them up if she didn't send them to me, but they were amazing. And I was so grateful that I had her, because she sent me stamps, paper, envelopes, so I was in there so I could keep myself busy. She sent me all those books. You can have people send you crossword books and all these puzzles and stuff. So, you can pass your time like that, but really that's it. Sleep, eat what you can, and, get whatever kinds of activities you can get from people, right? So, okay. Basically, when they come and take you to the shower, they come and they do a head count of how many people are going to shower, so that they know how long the process is going to take, because you only have a couple minutes, like realistically, in the shower. They come by your door, and once you say, yes, I'm going to shower tonight, like you and your roommate are going to shower, they do a final head count and they start doing the showers, and they break it down by minutes as to how many people are showering, how many minutes you have. So they have a button to turn the water on and off. They try to give you a little courtesy and extend a little bit of grace and say like 5 minutes to the shower, 2 minutes to the shower, 1 minute in the shower, cut the showers off, cut the showers off. If you don't cut them off, they're going to cut them off for you. Whatever soap you got is what it is. So that is how that process goes. You only have shampoo, you have no conditioner, and you also don't have any hairbrush unless you can get a comb snuck in there. But when you have a lot of hair, like my hair is not like ridiculous crazy, it's just like normal. But some people in there, especially like African American girls, they don't have any like of their hair products or anything, and all you got is a comb, and like you're trying to brush your hair or whatever, or if you have like curly hair, you're like a white girl with like curly hair or coarse hair, man, you're gonna lose like half your hair in there, because it's those little plastic combs like this that you find at, I don't even know, God knows freaking where you find them, but I'm pretty sure they're at the Dollar Tree and like next to the googly eyed glasses and stuff like that. They're just like shit combs, okay? So you have the combs, the little combs, and that's the best you can do, because you don't have conditioner, so your hair is a rat nest, okay? The best thing to do at that point is always just braid your hair down and hope for the best. And I tried to do that, y'all, for like the first week, but then like I wash my hair every day, twice a day, in the morning and at night when I take a shower. So my hair is like trained and gets very oily very quickly. I just feel gross if I take a shower and I don't wash my hair. My face feels greasy, like I don't like it. So I do that. And so for me, it was pure hell, because after a week of not washing my hair, my head was itchy, and I felt like I had fleas or something. Like, this is so gross, but I did. It was like disgusting. So I had to start washing my hair. But anyway, so, and you get like a little bar of soap. There's no body wash or anything. So you literally walk to the shower with a hotel bar of soap that's like this big, your comb and your shampoo, and that's it. Now, I will tell you this. I showered every single day when I was in there, as do most people, because you are in a room that is 8 feet long by 4 feet wide, okay? That's it. There's 2 bunks in there, there's a toilet, and there's a sink, and that's it. You and another person are sleeping incredibly close to each other. You guys are shitting and pissing and sitting on that toilet incredibly close to each other. When you're sitting on that toilet, somebody's head or feet or body or legs, because of the bed situations, is literally right next to that toilet, okay? So, being that you're in that close proximity to each other, and all the smells and fumes and things are like just, permeating in the air and onto everything, including especially your nostrils, it's offensive if you stink. And I'm not like a stinky person. I don't like really sweat like that or anything. But I don't care. I don't want to like be taking a dump and then I can't take a shower afterwards, and now 2 more days have to go by until I can shower, and tomorrow morning I have to pee and your head's right there. Like, I just feel some type of way about that. So what we do is we take bird baths. And a bird bath, you guys, is exactly what it sounds like. The little baths that birds take in those little, you know, sinks out there that we put for them. So basically we have a sink that looks like this, okay? And we get a rag, we soap up our rag with our soap, we wash all the essential areas, and then we take a cup and we sit over the toilet and we fill the cup up with water because the toilet and the sink are connected. And then we dump it on ourselves. So we dump the cup of water and we rinse ourselves and the water goes into the toilet. You do that by straddling the toilet backwards. So imagine this, you guys, okay? You soap up beforehand. Your roommate is usually somebody that you know or are comfortable with, or you just tell them you're about to take a bird bath and they'll roll over and face the wall and read a book and give you some privacy, okay? But imagine that you straddle the toilet backwards. So now you're over the toilet, right? And you're also facing the sink conveniently. So you can fill the sink up with the water and then you can like dump it on yourself, dump it on your private areas, your nether regions, dump it on your armpits, and everything will just filter into the toilet. You don't have a mess to clean up and you feel good. I used to even go to the extent of washing my hair in that same sink sometimes because I just felt gross. I was bored, whatever. Also, your clothes being washed, you have the option to send them out to laundry every day. And you can do that through a laundry bag that they provide you. And then it goes into this washing machine that's utterly disgusting. And I'm not going to get into that now because we'll be here for much longer than we already are. Y'all know how my videos are. I can't help it. I'm sorry. But I will talk about laundry one day. But for right now, just know that no normal, like, God-fearing woman would send their clothes out to laundry, even if they're God-fearing, because it's absolutely disgusting. It's a disgusting process, and it's run by inmates who do not give a shit what happens to your clothes or how clean they really are, okay? So I personally was washing my clothes in the sink. I was washing my panties in the sink. I was washing, you know, I don't think I wore a bra during that time, but I was washing my t-shirts, my shorts, my pajamas, everything. I even washed a sweatshirt in the sink. And then you put it to dry underneath like a little vent. And that pretty much like sums up what happens when you are in the room, okay? Now, there are a lot of things that go on. Girls hook up with each other, especially if you have, like, if you guys watch my Gay for the Stay video, if you have like a stud and a femme in the room, a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, they will hook up, be bored, pass time, whatever. People spend their time reading. People spend their time sleeping. People spend their time talking on the door. They'll start door relationships where you get on the door and you start talking to somebody else on another door, and then you start building a bond with that person, blah, blah. And then before you know it, you're in love and all this ridiculousness, okay? So all of that can happen. And basically that is what goes on. Now, when it comes time to be released, okay, pack your things, because at your hearing you have a release date. So you will at that point, the night before, the day of, whatever, pack your things. And when you pack your things, they will come get you at some point in that day. You will not cuffed anymore, but free. You will walk down to the front of the building. You will wait there for your dorm assignment where you're going to be housed at and sleeping in general population. And then you will walk out the door with all of your property. You will go to the main property room, gather the rest of your official property that wasn't allowed to go with you. And then you will go to your new housing assignment in whatever dorm you are in, okay? Now, that pretty much sums up like the day in and day out of jail. I didn't go into much detail about certain things that go on like while you're in there, because that's kind of going down a rabbit hole. I just wanted you guys to know like what the process of actually getting arrested and going to jail is, or getting cuffed and going to jail is. So that's pretty much that. Now, I wanted to talk about reasons why people voluntarily go to jail. And then I was going to wrap this video up with when I went to jail in my only one time in my experience. And that's very short part. So people will willingly go to confinement and will do something to get cuffed and go to jail for a couple reasons, and I'm just going to briefly mention them so you guys know, because there are people that are willing to go through this process and willing to subject themselves to this ridiculousness. No canteen, only the state prison food, no calling your family on the phone, no visitation, no TV, no MP3 player or tablet to watch movies or listen to music, no tweezers, no conditioner, no deodorant, no makeup, no toenail clippers, no fingernail clippers, no, did I mention tweezers again? Because, man, some people needed them. No razor, can't shave your armpits, your coochie, your legs, your toes, your fingers, your stomach, whatever you shave, because I've seen people shave it all. You can't shave, so I imagine after 67 days what my armpits and stuff was looking like. It was like, whoa! Okay, it was like ready to come out and touch somebody, all right? So you can't do that. You can't shower but 3 times a week, and you have to bird bath the other days. You have no access to your clothes. You have to use whatever they give you. Your sheets are dirty as hell, unless you chose to send them out to the laundry to get washed. And you're in a cell 24 hours a day with somebody who might smell like badooty-doo, you know, like booty and ass and pits and coochie and must and hair oil and body oil and everything else, and you're stuck in a room with them, and they might be a total bitch, and they might want to fight you, and they might want to hit on you, and they might want to have sex with you, and they might not like you, and it might be somebody that you can't stand that snores loud as hell like a freight train coming at you a million miles an hour, and you can't stop it. You don't know what you're going to get in that room, and life just sucks at that point. But there are women that are willing to put themselves in that cell for a reason. And I cannot wrap my mind around it. I never did it, but here they are. The reasons for going to confinement and getting in trouble on purpose is because you want to go to another facility and you want to get shipped out of that facility. So you need to do something that's heinous and horrid enough for them to not want you there anymore and to want to send you somewhere else, and hopefully you can get to where you want to go. Another reason that people willingly go there is to raise their custody and or their housing. Every time you get in trouble and you get a DR, and whether you go to confinement or not, if you get a DR and if you go to confinement, it's even worse. But your housing and your custody will get bumped up. So you might be a 1. If you are a 1, you are eligible to go to a work camp and work on the outside gates. Some people have girlfriends in prison. Some people have connections in prison. Some people have reasons why they want to stay in the prison and might not want to go to a work camp. If those reasons are important enough to you, then you need to raise your custody and raise your housing, because the only way that they're not going to send you to a work camp, if you are eligible and your custody and your housing are low enough, is if your housing and your custody gets bumped up. You don't just get to refuse things like that. Some people it's as simple as they don't want to get up at 4 in the morning to go shovel dirt on the side of a road with the work crew because they don't want to do it. They don't want to go to a forest and pull out dead trees. They don't want to do it. So they purposely get in trouble so that they can go to confinement, to jail, and their housing and their custody will get bumped up through their DR. Okay? That's one reason. So we've got the first reason, getting shipped. You want to leave the compound that you're on. So you do something that's bad enough to where they need you off the compound, whether it's selling drugs, fighting somebody, cutting somebody in the face, beating somebody with the lock, trying to have sex with an officer, claiming that you're getting raped, something like that. That will get you shipped to another institution where you might be going to meet up with your bestie, your girlfriend, your brother, your sister, your cousin, whoever it is. And the next one is because you might not you might not want to get shipped to another prison. You might be eligible to go to another prison that has lower custody. So you need to bump your custody up to be able to stay at the prison that you're at. because every prison will hold different kind of offenders. So if you're a maximum custody offender and you are in a maximum security prison, but your custody's dropping because your behavior has been good, you're at risk of now getting shipped to a minimum custody facility. And if that happens, you're going to leave behind everyone that you just built bonds with. So these are reasons why you might want to get in trouble. That's pretty much it. Does this happen every day? Absolutely. People go to confinement every single day, willingly and unwillingly, and the willing ones is because they really are usually trying to 9 times out of 10 get back to their girlfriends, okay? Bonds are serious in prison, y'all. Bonds are very serious, and people take those relationships very serious, and I understand it 100%. And to be honest with you, you know, if I had a whole lot of time to do and nobody out here to worry about in the free world, you know, and I had linked up with some girlfriend and been very close with her, and all we had was each other, you know, we were each other's bread and butter, I probably might do the same thing if I was in that predicament. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't say that I wouldn't, because I know how deep those bonds get. And when you have somebody that you're around every day that's keeping you sane and keeping you healthy and keeping you happy and keeping a smile on your face in one of the most miserable situations in life, heck yeah, you're going to probably take a little bit of pain to be able to be back around them, a little bit of discomfort, you know? So yeah, guys, pretty much that is the only reasons why you would willingly put yourself there, okay? But anyways, also, DRs matter, and let me tell you guys why. Because whenever in prison you are trying to get jobs, you are trying to get good behavior transfers to a prison that's maybe closer to your family, whether you are trying to get into certain programs like educational programs or any kind of technical program or a vocational program, you have to be DR free for a certain amount of time for all of that. So you really have to watch yourself as far as getting in trouble on purpose or not on purpose, because that could really affect that you might want to get into school 2 years down the road, but they say you had to be 3 years DR free. And guess what? 2 years ago, you decided to put yourself in confinement because you wanted to get back to your girlfriend, or you decided to fight with somebody over a shower and risk going to confinement, and you got caught and you did go. And now you want to study and actually make something of yourself, but you can't because you have a DR. You know what I'm saying? So DRs are very important because every year you get a report that comes from classification that states everything you've done that year. And it is very important that you do not have DRs so that you can do things that will advance your life while you're in prison, okay? That's how DRs affect you, and it's just not always, not ever actually, it's not ever a good thing to have them, okay? So that is that. Now, about me personally, I had a 10-year sentence. I would have done 8.5 years, but I got in trouble my last 90 days, roughly. I actually ended up losing some of my good behavior time, which is called gain time. And by losing some of those days, I actually ended up doing a little over 9 years. Or like about 9 years. So basically what happened was this. I did all of my time for the most part, except for R&O, which is orientation. I did most of my time on the main unit, okay? I did about 8.5 years on the main unit, okay? Now, that is the other side of the annex. Remember, I told you guys about the annex and the main unit, okay? It's one big prison, but it's separated by a gate that we cannot cross at any time. Only officers can cross back and forth, okay? Now, I ended up taking a job that I thought I was going to love, you know, my last 90 days or so on the annex as a canteen operator, okay? I had previously been a canteen operator on the main unit two separate times. Other than that, I worked in education, but I had been a canteen operator. I just couldn't do it for too long because I would burn out, and I really just didn't like all the labor part of the job, okay? But I ended up taking that job on the annex as a canteen operator, and I should have known when they said they couldn't keep one for more than a couple weeks, but nonetheless, I did not know what all it was going to entail. I thought it was going to be like the main unit, but the crowd on the annex is much rougher, much tougher, much more wild, and has a lot less to lose than the people over there. So they don't really give two flying. Okay, so I took the job in Oscar Park, and it is a crazy, crazy, crazy park. So Oscar Dorm Canteen is the only park on all of the annex that has 2 separate dorms that shop at one window, and it's pure hell all the time, okay? People are cussing you out. It's crazy. It's this, it's that, or whatever, whatever, and it sucks, and I hated it. The first 2 days, I was ready to get the hell out of there. But it's a paying job in the prison, and I was about to go home, so I was trying to rack up as much money as possible because I had a nice little nest egg saved, but I wanted to like capitalize, and I was greedy. I was really greedy. So long story short, I'm just gonna give it to you guys in a nutshell because this video is already long, and I know. I actually started selling contraband out of the canteen along with potato chips and cookies and little snacks. So people could come there and buy this certain thing that I was selling because I was able to just pass it out the window and make it look legit and everything was good. And in turn, they would pay me and blah, 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 okay? In addition to that, as if it wasn't enough that I was making hundreds of dollars sometimes a day on that, I also decided to rent out my store because my store, I was the only one that had a key. When you have a canteen in prison, the canteen is actually owned and operated by an outside company called Keefe, or at the end called Trinity, okay? It does not belong to the prison. It is an enterprise that is outside of the prison, has nothing to do with the Department of Corrections. It is their merchandise, it is their inventory, it is their store, it is their keys, it is their, I get employed by them. I have a W-2 from them. I get tax returns from them while I'm in prison. My paycheck is signed by them, and they are the ones that employ me, okay? So DOC and the officers and the staff cannot just come in that store and do whatever they want because it's not their store and it's not their property. They can tell me to step out the store and they can search me, arrest me, search my property and all that, but they cannot search that store without the consent of the people that own it, which was Trinity at the time, okay? I was pretty good with the people that I was working for, you know what I'm saying? They didn't know what I was doing, of course, but they were pretty solid, you know what I'm saying? They looked at us like human beings and not like just a prisoner, inmate, a number. So I figured that not only could I hide my contraband that I was selling out of the store pretty well in there, but also if it ever came time to get searched, I could like kind of sweep it up and get rid of it before the staff could find it, right? So that was all fine and good. I had my contraband hidden in the store inside of a denture cup. And I also, when my store was closed, was renting it out to girlfriends, to couples, okay? And I would rent it out for 15 minutes for $300. They would put the $300 in my account, in my inmate account, with my DC number, or their not them, but like their families would. And then they would get 15 minutes in my store in privacy in a bathroom or in the back, wherever they wanted, because my store was pretty big. And it was like a little mini hotel, and they could go in there and not have to worry about getting caught because I was in the store cleaning up and doing things, right? It was a big, huge bathroom, and it was a big, huge store. So I was doing that. Well, lo and freaking behold, one day, the colonel is walking around with the captain, a lieutenant, some officers, some classification officers, all these freaking gang of high-ranking people, okay? Now, the colonel is this black lady who is ratchet as hell. She has absolutely no, like, respect for inmates. She's just, like, one of those, I don't know, like, some people are like, oh, she's cool, it's just tough love and discipline and whatever, but no. She doesn't have manners, and she doesn't understand boundaries, and she's just like, I'm the head bitch in charge, I'm that bitch, like, you're gonna do what I say, and she's like that southern ratchet woman, okay, that hood rat, that freaking made it somewhere in life, and now she's on a power trip, right? And that's just what it is, and I'm just being real, and I can't even remember her damn name, or I'd call it, but it was Colonel some or other. It was like a Darcian lady, and she always had ridiculous makeup. But anyways, whatever the hell her name was, nobody, anytime that I had been a canteen operator, not one single person, no matter how high ranking they were, walked in that store without staff members from that Trinity company present, okay? Because it's like the way it is. It's the rules. This lady not only decided to knock on the door while I had a couple in the bathroom, but my light was off. So I was hiding, okay? When I saw her knocking, I hid real quick. Now, for some reason, she decided she wanted to do a walkthrough through the place, and I don't know why. There wasn't any reason. Like, nobody had told on me. Nothing happened. It wasn't anything like that I know of. Like, I still don't think to this day. But she decided to do a freaking walkthrough. So I heard her knocking. Now, I was hiding and they were hiding at the same time, because when I saw that she was approaching the door, because I could see them before they could see me, the way the window's set up, I was like, oh my God, y'all, hurry up, hide, turn the light off. So the window's also fogged out and I had a cardboard thing over it with like a little peephole. I know they didn't see me. So as she's knocking, they're hiding, I'm hiding, but then I hear her through the door say, hand me the master key. And I'm like, oh fuck. So I hurry up and open the door as if like I just hadn't heard her. And she's like, now she's suspicious because I'm probably looking nervous as hell. I'm looking scared as hell. I know I'm in trouble. And I need this lady to not walk any further than that door frame, okay? So I basically am like trying to stop her. I'm basically bogarting the door frame, hoping she doesn't come through. But because I'm like bogarting the door and because I'm new on the compound and she doesn't know me, she literally pretty much trucks me over and starts walking through the store. She's good. She's about to leave. And then all of a sudden she opens the bathroom door and peeks in there. Now, when you're in the bathroom, y'all, there's nowhere to hide. It's a big, huge room and that's it. Like if she opens the door, boom, she's going to see the two girls that are in there, the two girlfriends that I have in the bathroom. Okay. So she opens the door, boom, what happens? She finds the two freaking girlfriends. So now I'm in trouble for having them in the store, which is against the rules, and they're in trouble for being in the store. Now they're in trouble for being in an unauthorized area. They probably would have gotten like 7 days in confinement for that. I probably would have got 7 days in confinement, if that, for having them in my store. But these assholes decide to throw their cigarettes and their lighter, which is illegal in prison, in my bathroom. So they throw their cigarettes and their lighter in my bathroom, just right there out in the open, and she sees it, which prompts her to search the rest of my store with a bunch of staff, okay? So what do they find when they search the rest of my store? My freaking contraband that I'm selling in the denture cup. So now we're all in trouble. We're all in trouble for all each other's shit. We're all in trouble for the cigarettes, the lighter, and the contraband. Half of it's theirs, half of it's mine. We're all in trouble for them being in the store. It's this big whole freaking mess. Like, anyways, long story short, I had never been in trouble a day in my life since I was in there. I had never even been so much as cuffed. And the last 90 days, I get in trouble for all of that. I get 66 days in prison, God forbid. I get 66 days in confinement. It was horrible. I had not been subjected to confinement life at all while I was in there, so I was not prepared, and it was just super embarrassing and freaking terrible. I got out a couple weeks before I was set to go home, and basically I ended up not making that date and having to stay for like another couple months, and then I finally went home. So instead of going home in December, I went home in February and of the next year, which sucked because it was a whole other year, but it was only a couple months. And that was my confinement experience. I did not have any weird like hookups or fights or situations while I was in confinement. I had excellent bunkies. I had 2 bunkies only, and they were great. One I was with the first like 20 days. The other I was with like the last 40 some odd days. And it was fine. I'm grateful that I had them. When I say it was great, I'm just saying it was great that I had who I had because they were amazing. And other than that, I just freaking starved in there. I've never been so hungry in my life. And it was horrible. And it was the most horrible part of prison. And I would never wish it on anyone, okay? So, guys, this video has been long and it's also long overdue. And I'm sorry, but I had to make sure that I wasn't doing anything that could get me hemmed up by some haters and some people that, you know, are pissed off that I'm telling the teas or the juice or the gossip or whatever the hell I want to tell on my channel during my journey in prison. Okay, like, fuck off, for real. But anyways, yeah, but that's it, you guys. I will be back every week from here forward. You have my word, for real. I love you guys. My channel's growing a little bit. Y'all see it's climbing up towards 700. So please, if you haven't subscribed already, I would so appreciate it if you would subscribe so I can get to my 1,000. It's my goal. If you guys like this video, the more you like and the more you comment and the more time you watch in the video, even if you can't watch it all at one time, if you do end up watching it for longer than a couple minutes, it helps me out a lot. It pushes me into the ether of the algorithm. But yeah, if you haven't, please subscribe, guys. It so means the world. And if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you didn't, give me a thumbs down. I mean, it doesn't matter. Just tell me. If you didn't, explain why you didn't. And if you want to know more, let me know, and I will try to answer all your questions. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys already know. If you don't know, the reason I say I love y'all is not because it's some cliche freaking YouTube thing. It's because I love you guys. I love you guys, not on a personal level because I don't know all of you, but I love you guys because the way I feel when I read your comments, the way you guys encourage, the way you guys support, the way you guys make me feel like even this little bitty baby channel trying to go up against these girls with millions of subscribers, you guys make me feel through your words that I'm doing something, that if nothing else is entertaining for you to watch, and it's enjoyable and you like it. And that to someone who just came out of prison doing a 10-year sentence, doesn't have a lot of friends out here, is just trying to work my behind off to make it so I'm financially independent and successful and free at a certain age, since I've missed so many years and I wasn't able to build a foundation. What you guys do for me and the way you make me feel when I read your comments is priceless. And when I say I love you, I'm saying I love you because I appreciate the things that you do for me that you don't even know you do for me. Okay? So I love y'all for real. And I thank you guys. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. And I will see y'all next week. Okay? I hope you guys have an awesome week, awesome weekend, and an awesome everything else that you have coming up, whatever it is. Okay? You guys have a good one. I love you.